After playing in just about 6 quarters in 2019, Ben Roethlisberger's season was cut short due to an arm injury. But hey, it's a new year, it's a new season, and thus there's new hope for the Steelers' veteran passer. Here to break it down is SI's fantasy football analyst Michael Fabiano and the editor of All Steelers, Noah Strackbein. Fabs, you are calling Big Ben your comeback player of the year. Why the love for the Pittsburgh passer?
There's a lot of options out there, right? You got Big Ben, you got AJ Green, Matt Stafford, but I feel like Big Ben is the guy that you could potentially see bounce back up into the top 12 at his position from a fantasy perspective. Let's go back to 2018. He led the NFL in passing yards, over 5,100, had 675 pass attempts. That was the most by a quarterback since 2012. He also led the NFL in touchdown throws, over 20 plus yards. And I understand that that team had Antonio Brown. It didn't have Le'Veon Bell. Remember, James Conner was the guy there because Bell decided to take his football and go home. You also have to keep in mind the Steelers have a lot of really good young weapons in the passing game. Juju Smith-Schuster obviously thrived in that season in 2018 when Big Ben was throwing him the football. 111 catches, over 1,400 yards. He was the wide receiver 9. Then you factor in Deontay Johnson, who a lot of people, including myself, think could end up having a big breakout season. James Washington also in the mix. They bring in Eric Ebron as a free agent. They drafted Chase Claypool in the second round. So Roethlisberger has a lot of options in the passing game, even though Antonio Brown is no longer there. And also, when you look at Ben in camp, he looks like he's in shape. He's slimmed down at 38 years old. I still feel like he's going to be able to get the job done for the Steelers and in fantasy. And right now, his ADP is in the double-digit rounds. He's a QB2, so the risk really isn't that large. If he comes out and has a stinker or two, you can probably just sit him on your bench. But if you gain a big-time performance or two from Roethlisberger and he shows that he can be that quarterback from 2018, you've got an absolute steal on your hands.
Noah Fabs brought up the fact that Ben has looked a little bit slimmer this year in camp. Recent article on your website, allsteelers.com, says that he's looked impressive in training camp so far. What are some of the main takeaways from his performance in the first couple weeks of August?
Well, the biggest thing comes from tight end Vance McDonald, who said yesterday, actually, that he's never seen Ben Roethlisberger like this. Everybody says that he kind of has this chip on his shoulder that he's never carried throughout his career because he's seen so much success. Now he comes back from an injury for the first time. He plays younger. He's more excited than usual. He's smiling a ton more than he usually does at training camp, and it's radiating off the players. So right now, everybody seems to adjust or adapt to the new Ben that's there, and they're kind of pushing for him to see whatever success he has now that he's healthy.
For more fantasy football analysis from Michael Fabiano, including his sleeper, his bust, and his stash and cash, check out si.com/fantasy.